The year is 2055. Humanity has reached the peak of a centuries-long curiosity. When we look up at the sky, we no longer see only the stars. We see our own footprints as well. Thousands of satellites orbit above us. Massive space stations drift in silence, and colonies on the moon are beginning to flourish. Earth is no longer our only home. But how did we get here, and what awaits us in the future? Let's take a closer look at the next 30 years of humanity's journey. A new era in space. After 2025, the great space race accelerated as governments and private companies began working hand in hand. Elon Musk's Mars projects, China's lunar base initiatives, and NASA's deep space missions completely reshaped humanity's horizons. By 2035, the first permanent colony was established on the moon. It wasn't just a base. It became the first true settlement where humans lived beyond Earth. The moon's resources, especially helium-3, were harnessed to help solve Earth's growing energy crisis. The Mars journey. By 2040, Mars was no longer just a subject of science fiction. It was part of daily conversations, real reports, and breaking news. The entire world watched as the first settlers stepped onto the red planet. Life that was far from easy. Dust storms, low gravity, and deadly radiation pushed human innovation to its limits. But through genetic engineering and AI-driven technology, humanity learned to grow food on Mars and survive inside massive dome-shaped cities. The future of Earth. Meanwhile, Earth itself was undergoing transformation. The climate crisis peaked in the 2030s. Global temperatures rose sharply, and coastal cities were swallowed by rising seas. The disasters reminded humanity of a painful truth. Earth is our home, and we must protect it. Through renewable energy, AI-managed smart cities, and massive carbon capture projects, the planet slowly began to recover and breathe again. New civilizations beyond Earth. By 2050, space was no longer just for scientific missions. It had become a new arena for culture and social life. The birth of the first child on the moon marked a turning point in human history. Space was no longer just a place we visited. It was a place we lived. With holographic communication, people could talk between Earth and Mars in real time, and through virtual reality, they could even visit distant worlds without leaving their homes. A door to the stars. Perhaps the most exciting breakthrough came with the invention of quantum engines. For the first time, humanity was able to step beyond the boundaries of our solar system. We hadn't reached light speed yet, but unmanned probes were launched toward nearby stars. By 2055, the first probe heading to Proxima Centauri was preparing to send back signals from humanity's nearest interstellar neighbor. What does the future hold? So what comes next? In just 30 years, humanity has broken its own limits again and again. But the biggest question remains, among the stars, are we just guests or the founders of new civilization? By 2080, we may see millions living in cities on Mars. We might establish ocean colonies on the moons of Jupiter. Or perhaps we will finally encounter intelligent life beyond Earth. One thing is certain. Humanity's destiny is no longer tied only to Earth. Our future lies far beyond the skies. Final thoughts. What will the world of the future look like? Perhaps filled with chaos and crisis, or maybe with discovery and hope. But one truth remains. Everything depends on our choices. When we look up at the night sky, we're not just dreaming. We're catching a glimpse of our own future. The dawn of interplanetary society. By the mid-21st century, humanity had entered an era never before imagined. The birth of an interplanetary society. The borders that once defined nations on Earth began to lose meaning when compared to the vast, unclaimed territories of the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Instead of passports, citizens carried digital identities recognized across planets. New laws and treaties were forged, not about dividing land, but about sharing air, water, and technology. Humanity was slowly learning that survival in space depended not on competition, but on cooperation. The moon became the first hub of this new society. Its colonies were not just laboratories or outposts, but thriving communities where children went to school under domes. Farmers cultivated genetically modified crops, and artists painted visions of Earthrise. Lunar cities developed their own culture, shaped by the silence of space and the constant reminder of Earth glowing above them. Mars, humanity's second home. Mars, on the other hand, became the crucible of human resilience. Early settlers lived under fear of constant failure. A single cracked dome or a power shortage could spell disaster. But each challenge led to breakthroughs. New materials stronger than steel were developed to withstand Martian dust storms. Medicine advanced rapidly as doctors learned how the human body adapted to lower gravity and high radiation. Children born on Mars began to show small but fascinating differences from Earth-born humans. Stronger bones, altered lung capacities, and even slight changes in immune response. By 2055, Mars was no longer a frontier. It was home. Cities with shimmering protective domes dotted the red landscape, linked by magnetic rail lines. Greenhouses glowed at night, filled with genetically engineered plants that could survive with minimal water. Mars wasn't Earth, but it had become a world where humans could dream, create, and build families. Earth's transformation. Back on Earth, the scars of climate change were still visible, but humanity's approach to technology had shifted. Instead of chasing endless consumption, the focus turned toward balance. Megaforestation projects covered deserts with trees engineered to capture carbon at unprecedented rates. Oceans, once poisoned with plastic, were cleaned by fleets of autonomous nanobots. Cities glistened under solar roofs, their streets powered by fusion reactors and decentralized energy grids. For the first time in centuries, Earth began to heal. And perhaps even more importantly, humanity's perspective shifted. Earth was no longer seen as something to exploit, but as something to cherish. Space exploration had shown us how rare and fragile a habitable planet truly was. Artificial intelligence and human evolution. One of the most profound changes during this era was the relationship between humans and artificial intelligence. By 2045, AI had reached a level where it was not just a tool, but a partner. Machines helped govern colonies, monitor life support systems, and even mediate disputes. On Mars, AI-driven teachers guided children through lessons while simultaneously tracking their health and emotional well-being. But AI did more than serve. It challenged humans to rethink what it meant to be alive. Some people chose to merge with machines, enhancing their cognition with neural implants. Others resisted, insisting that humanity's essence must remain untouched. This debate between human purity and human evolution became one of the defining cultural struggles of the 21st century.